About some of these themes as well. Textiles looks interesting. There's a bit of a second coming for that, if you will. Now, let me get in Kunal Shah as well. Kunal, thanks for joining in. The long-term view constructive, the short-term because of the pullback that we've seen, particularly in banks the last 3 or 4 sessions. How are you looking at either the derivative positions or the charts for the benchmarks to start off with, both the Nifty and the Nifty Bank?
Good afternoon, Neeraj. I think definitely since the last, specifically if I talk about yesterday, there was a clear-cut breakdown on the technical charts, both on the Nifty and the Bank Nifty index. What we suggested our clients as well, that if Bank Nifty fails to hold that mark of 48,000, we expect further decline on the downside. And for Nifty, 21,650 was a support, which got breached in yesterday's trading session. So I think this selling pressure will continue for the next upcoming days as well. We have expected some profit booking coming from current levels. So looking at the supports which are getting breached, we expect Nifty to go towards the levels of 21,400, 300 on an immediate basis, and for Bank Nifty towards 47,000 on an immediate basis. If you look at today's trading session specifically, as you pointed out, HDFC Banks is the major contributor for this fall. But I think going forward, you will see participation coming from the other banks as well. So even both Nifty and Bank Nifty on a short-term perspective are looking bearish, or you can see some declines here. But if you look at a longer-term picture, still the trend is very weak. Still the trend is very strong. I expect this correction, what will be coming in the market, would be a good opportunity to add on to, again, long positions. My long-term targets again for the Bank Nifty continues to be 50,000 plus, and for Nifty 22,000 plus. So I think it's a mild correction for a short-term perspective. Kindly book some profits, but again at lower levels you will get good buying opportunities.
Right, thanks for that, Kunal. I quickly want to mark out news on Bajaj Auto, which has just come through. There's a news that they will be considering buyback on the 8th of January, and you can see the spike on the stock on the back of that, 2.5% higher now, Bajaj Auto, which was trading largely in the red through the day. But quickly back to you, Kunal. Want to understand your overall view of the market is constructive and positive, as is Mr. Irani's. So talk to us about your picks in this market. What are you looking at?
So I think in the last 1 to 2 trading sessions, what we have seen is healthcare as a space has done extremely well. And we remain bullish on the sector as well. Out of that, the stock which looks very attractive to me at the current levels for a short-term gain perspective as well is Apollo Hospital. Now, on the technical chart, the stock has given us a good breakout as well on the lower time frame. Plus, on the higher time frame, it is trading in a higher high, high low formations as well. The stock is almost near its 52-week high. We expect this to be taken out decisively. So I'm expecting the stock to go plus 6,000 plus levels in the very short term. So one can initiate long positions at the current levels. 5650 is a very good support, which should act as a stop loss on the downside. 5950 to 6050 is what I'm looking for Apollo Hospital in the very near term. So I think that is one space which you should be very active on. Second stock, which is looking very good to me, is from the construction space. Now, we have seen construction as a space doing very well in the last couple of quarters as well. And going forward, we expect this momentum to continue. So out of that, my top pick would be NCC. NCC, after a good run-up, has been in a sideways consolidation phase, but we are seeing quality buying happening at the lower levels on the technical charts. The stock is taking support near its 50 EMA and its 100 EMA. Which is a crucial zone for the stock. 170 is somewhere where the stock is currently trading. So even current levels is very good to initiate long positions. 160 has now been a very strong support, which should act as a stop loss. And on the higher end, on an immediate basis, 185 to 192 is the targets, which I'm looking on the upside.
Right. Thank you for that.
Questions actually before we take that break, because Bajaj Auto is now 3.5% higher. And if you look at Himanshi's first plate, that was completely around pharmaceuticals. So actually, first a very quick 30-second technical view, Kunal, on Bajaj Auto. There is a spike there. Would you buy into this spike?
So I think definitely looking at the kind of strong uptrend it is, a fresh breakout is clearly visible on the chart. So you should definitely buy at the current levels. Immediate target for the stock would be 7,200, where it faces a near-term hurdle as well. So 7,200 is something I'm looking in a very short-term perspective.
And the first plate from Himanshi's volume buzzers piece was entirely around pharmaceuticals. Mr. Irani, we'll talk. Well, just before we take that break, Kunal, it was a great trading call as well. So, Merbunani believes this is a long, to couple of years or maybe less than that, a 5-figure stock. You gave a call to buy this. It's now 7,050. You would stay long on this one?
Yes, definitely continue to be on the long side. As I said, 7,200 is somewhat what I'm expecting in the very short term. So if you are holding on to your long positions, continue with a stop loss of 6,950.
You know, it's interesting. I mean, in the midst of a news flow to buy an index stock 3% higher and then still see the gains. A pretty solid call given on the charts and the derivative side as well. Take a break, more focus on derivatives because Agam, while he spoke about Bajaj Auto, will throw some light on what the derivative space is doing on the other side of this very quick break. Stay tuned to NDTV Profit.
So that's a quick plus. But let me quickly take it back to Kunal. Kunal, you know, we missed asking you your views with regard to the Adani names. Could you please give us your views?
Yeah, I think overall, if I look at the pack, one data I would like to highlight over here that post that Hindenburg case, you will see apart from Adani Port and Adani Power, the rest of the stocks are still trading below that high. So I think there's a lot of strength which is clear cut visible in Adani Port. This is one stock which I'm extremely bullish on. I think whatever dip you get into the stock, that should be a buy opportunity. Two things. First, it has surpassed on a technical chart, it has surpassed the case high as well. Plus, it has surpassed its all-time high as well. So clear cut, it is showing a lot of strength as well. So 1100 somewhere it is trading. Even if you get any dip into the stock, try to accumulate it. 970 is now a very strong base for the stock. On a positional basis, I'm looking for target somewhere around 1400 to 1500, which is from the current market price at least 30-35% upside. But if anybody wants to have a shorter term target, you can at least look for a target of conservative of 1250 to 1300 on the upside.
Right.
Okay, we'll talk to Harsh about Shyam, but before that, Kunal, a word on the weakness in metals today, and is there a trade out there on the short side?
Yeah, I think definitely, Neeraj. If we talk about metals as a space on the longer term chart perspective, it still looks bullish. Yes, there has been a some of profit booking or selling pressure which is visible from the higher levels. But for me, yes, for a short-term perspective, if I look at the metal index, currently trading somewhere around 7,880 levels or so, we can expect some declines to a 7,700 levels. So yes, names such as Hindalco or a SAIL or a National Aluminium, which has rallied quite a lot in the last 1 month or so, we can see some profit booking coming in over there. So that is where they will be under pressure for a short-term perspective, that is for the next 2 to 3 days. Then again, we'll see the trend resuming on the upside.
Right. Thanks for that, Kunal. Neeraj did mention Shyam Metallics, and we've seen the stock suddenly. If we can have the graph there for context, we've seen a bit of a spike on the stock right at the fag end of trade today, which is the last 10 to 15 minutes, largely on the back of QIP, which seems to have closed out now, 3,500 crore raised, and there is around 5,500 crore worth of capex, which the company is expected to do over the next 2 to 3 years. It's largely a 1,000 odd crore profit making company, and with around 600 crore of depreciation. If just add both of those, largely the capex gets funded through profit is our understanding. And overall, when you're looking at the way the top line is expected to move, it's a 17,000 crore market cap company. Top line is expected to move from around 12.5 odd thousand crore and expected to double up over the next 3 years, all the way through FY26. So maybe 2 years and a quarter. So therefore, there's plenty of tailwind with regard to both growth into new businesses. They're also doing some backward integration, and their margins are expected to get better as well. This is, of course, all company guidance which we pulled out, and therefore this looks quite a differentiated play when you're looking at it overall within the metals pack, and that's what Neeraj was essentially mentioning.
Interesting. Okay, so thanks for that analysis. Wonder, so I know Mehboob Irani doesn't track Shyam, but Kunal, Shyam Metallics or a Godavari Power and Ispat, essentially this pellet specialty steel space, which is not quite connected to what's happening in metals at large. Do any of them are showing interesting charts?
So I think specifically if I talk about Sham Metallics in US, the run-up has been very sharp. The breakout was already confirmed in the stock, I think 2 months back, where around the levels of 480, 500. From there onwards, the stock has been a non-stop buy toward that 670 mark. Still, and any upside is left from the current levels? The answer to this is yes. Looking at the technical chart, post that breakout of 500 levels, I'm expecting this target to come around 750 or so. So still stock is trading around 674. So you have a decent upside of 10% even from the current levels as well. So I think one should definitely keep it on a buy radar at the current levels as well. The base or the support for the stock on the downside is at 620. So as long as 620, 630 is not taken out, we expect the momentum to continue toward that 740, 750 mark level on the upside.
Okay, well, so that's as far as Shyam goes, still some upsides left. Wonder if Godavari Power and Ispat has also moved up. So Kunal, actually this was, it's a fundamental pick from Mr. Mehboob Irani, and I would love to take your closing strategy too, but before that a view on Calcutta Electric, because a couple of days back somebody recommended the chart formation of CESC and some of the other power names as very strong. Do you track them?
Yes, definitely I track it, Neeraj. I think firstly to talk about CESC, the trend is quite strong. The stock has always been taking support at its 20 DMA. Plus, there's a clear-cut uptrend which is visible in the stock with higher high, higher low formations, which is intact. So looking at the entire chart structure, the stock can easily go in the short term towards that 150 to 160 marks on the higher end. So it's definitely on the buy list from the current levels as well.
Right. Okay. If we can also quickly, Kunal, we didn't get your views on Nifty IT. So again, just before close, if we can have your quick views on it, because that's the one sector which has gone up 7% odd in December, but it's languishing in January. So your views here.
Yeah, I think the kind of breakout what we had seen earlier, we are seeing some pullback coming over here for the Nifty IT space, but the overall structure still looks more or less positive to me. I think on the lower end, if I look at the IT chart, 33,500 has been a very strong support, and the IT index is currently trading at 34,400 mark or so. So maybe a little bit more downside what you can get from the current levels from the IT space. From there onwards, we can again resume some uptrend as well. I think mid-cap IT is something which is looking very interesting to me. That could do very well going forward as well. That is what one should focus on. And also on the cash market, if I talk about Zensar Tech is something which I would like to highlight over here. Extremely bullish on a technical chart perspective on Zensar Tech. At least from the current levels, 20 to 25% upside is visible in the next 3 to 6 months.
Right, very interesting views coming in from Kunal, especially on the mid-cap side of things. But Kunal, again, I will come back to you. Your picks for BTST?
See, I think if you look at BTST, I think pharma as a name is something which we are suggesting that something still more upside which is left over here. So Lupin is something which is looking good for me. The stock has been a very strong uptrend. It has been breaking above its critical resistance zone as well. So 1406 is somewhere the stock is currently trading. One can initiate long positions at the current levels as well, keeping a stop loss of 1380 on the downside and looking for targets of 1450 to 1470.
All right.
So, well, that's the view on clutch of these PSU banks as well. But as we wrap up trade, the clear distinction seems to be that IT and metals have